Crikey. Good morning, John. How are you doing?
Hello, mate. I'm okay, and you?
Yeah. I've got a bit of brightness in the weather down here in Port Erin. How's it? Is it Douglas Head you are? Or is that where you are, up in Unken or something?
Yeah, Unken Head. Better than I thought it was going to be. Shall I just quickly turn it round? That's out of my. Can you see that? That's out of my window.
Cool,
it's not as blowy as I thought it was going to be.
That's a veranda.
Yeah, so it is a veranda, mate. I have been known to hit a few off the back lawn into the sea, and as Fred Shoemaker once told me, he said he hit a few into the Pacific, and he's never missed. And while he's been hitting them there, he's never missed the ocean in 40 years. So I think I'm I'm the same, although I got a bit of carry to get there, but we're all right.
So your balls are getting washed up all over the place.
It's okay up here.
So tell me,
what's that, mate?
Your balls are getting washed up all over the place.
Yeah, no, I don't. Look, they take 100 to 1,000 years to degrade, so I'm not. I don't subscribe to support that anymore.
Well, I've got to say thank you for the last time we hooked up and we did the data collection, and I'm pleased to say there's been some key members at Rowany who've been going out playing in their solo games with notepad in hand. So what do you think about that, John? That's got to be a great step.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, it makes it gives a little bit of purpose to going out on your own, doesn't it? And it's how you take the feedback from it. I know one or two I've heard from third parties that one or two have got quite depressed by what they found out. But it should, don't get depressed about it. It just highlights, where your strengths and perhaps where your weaknesses are, and what you need to do to rectify it. And I just go back to the point that greens in regulation are the basis for the game. If you, the more greens in regulation you hit, the lower your score is going to be, and the more enjoyable your game will be.
Well, for anyone who's watching today, the link is on the Rowany Facebook page, and it's a little PDF, and you can download it, and it's just giving you a bit of purpose in your game. I mean, not everyone's lucky enough to play with someone who's living in the same house. A lot of us going out alone, but we have seen the Newton guy has been wandering around the fairways doing a bit of data collection. So if Billy does it, he's a wise man, follow suit. Right, John, we're going to talk about a few things going on. I'll just pull up a graphic on the screen, so just bear with me. Let's see, where are we?
Yeah, while you're doing that, Jed, can I just say that if anybody is doing it and they want to talk to me about it, that's not a problem. You can let them get my contact details. I'm very happy to engage. There's no, just have a chat about it and see how to use that information and how to get things a little bit, improve things on the basis of the information that they've got. No problem at all.
Excellent. Okay, so today we're going to talk about the dreaded fifth hole. Okay.
Oh, okay.
The dreaded fifth hole.
I see your graphic. Thanks.
I mean, the newbies. I think a lot of the new ladies. I think we all find it a bit tough, don't we? We all find it a bit tough. We've got out of bounds up the right. Yep, it's a par 5, and the question is how on earth do you play it? Do you hit short? Are you looking at hitting a longer iron in to get that purchase? Are you coming in from the left, or do you take the danger route over the right, which opens up the green? It's a real challenge. So I wonder if you could just talk us through it.
Yeah, well, happy to. From my perspective, the first thing I would say that it is a hole that creates a lot of doubt, so the first thing you have to do is put yourself in a position where you get rid of as much doubt as you possibly can on that hole. So the first thing I would do is look at the hole from the hole back to the tee. So visualize it from the way back. So where is it I want to play my approach shot from? Now that might be dependent on the wind. It could be dependent on how wet the ground is, etc., but predominantly the wind on the hole. So I would look at it from the hole back, and then I would say to myself, look, am I realistically capable here of getting on this green in 3 shots or 4 shots? I'm going to leave out the 2-shot players like yourself or whatever. But is it a par 5 or a par 6 for me today? So before I get to the hole, I don't make a prejudgment on it before I get to the hole. It's like the fifth at Castletown. Everybody prejudges it before they get there. Just leave it to one side, stand on the tee, put yourself on your approach shot, and bring yourself back to the tee. Say, look, if I want to play it from the left-hand side, we'll go on to that in a minute. Am I going to get there in 2 shots, or 3 shots, or 4 shots? And get yourself in a comfort zone, and then set your strategy based on the way that you perceive yourself playing your approach shot to the green. And we'll talk about the approach shot in a minute. So create a strategy from the hole back. Where would you play your approach shot from? Allow for the wind. And the other thing I would say straight at the outset is, because you're talking about an out of bounds on the right, which I don't believe should be there, by the way. If you're talking that it should be there from a safety point of view, then you might as well have it on the 3rd hole, the 4th hole, etc., etc. So I don't see a safety issue. I would much rather have more protection on the tee on the top right, but that's only a personal view. But we're aware that there's an out of bounds on the right, but there's an awful lot of safety on the left-hand side. So give yourself another 10 yards left. Give yourself 10 yards, because there's not enough rough there to worry about. And as long as you can get it past the shrubbery on the left, which most people are going to do, I would sacrifice distance for keeping it left. And the wind's generally off the left, and it's going to bounce left to right. So go further left off the tee. The other thing you've got to bear in mind when you make the strategy is the effect of the hills. People rarely take effect of those slopes. You tend to hit it on the upslope on the drive, and then you're going to hit up the bank on the second shot, and then you've got another hill to go over on the third. So it's pretty much uphill from start to finish. So most people don't hit it far enough. Most club golfers, and this is not being disparaging to club, they don't hit it far enough to stand on the tee to comfortably say, I should be getting on the green in 3 shots today. For most people, it's a 4-shot hole. It's a stroke hole, stroke index 5. If you walk off with a 6 every time and you pick up 2 points, I don't think you're going to be disappointed. So just get yourself in a state of mind where you say, look, how do I get 4 shots onto this green, and work back from the hole. So that's the first thing. That's the first thing I would say. So pick it left, hit it left. Don't worry about distance. If you then knock it to the bottom of that hill or halfway up the hill or whatever on the second shot, and then you have to knock it with a 6 iron, a 5 iron, a wood, a 7, it doesn't matter what it is. For me, you need to be playing your 3rd shot or your 4th shot, your approach shot, from the left-hand side. And you can be as left as you like. You can be as left as you like. There's no danger left. I think the ball doesn't carry so far forward from the left. It tends to kick into the green a little bit more. You don't come down onto the downslope and kick forward and so much. You haven't got any of the gorse to carry. You haven't got to hit any distance with a wedge or a 9 iron if you're a little bit short right. Gives you far more choice of club to use. So I don't see any argument at all for being anywhere near the 6th tee. None at all.
But what we've got is, I'm sure, the lower handicaps, the more elite golfers might argue that you're better coming in on the right-hand side and flighting it over the caddy memorial bench, because you're hitting into a flatter green, because as the weather gets drier, coming in from the left, I think if you haven't got the luxury of having a shot, say, on that hole, you're going to be hitting your 3rd shot.
We're talking about 2 different things, Jed. We're talking about 2 different things. I'm talking there about a significant majority of club golfers that look at that and say, if I end up on the right here, I've got to hit my 9 iron or my wedge with 100 and something yards of carry or whatever, and it's a shot that's probably doomed 80% of the time. So if you've got the ability to knock it in 2 shots and get within a wedge, then if you want to be on the right, it really doesn't make any difference. You don't see the hill, do you? You only see the ball flight landing on the green. And if you're hitting it that far and you've got that club head speed, then you're generally getting a lot of purchase on the ball, and you're going to get a lot of spin on the green. When you haven't got that ability to hit that shot, you're going to be hitting a flatter face club, and you're going to be going after it a little bit, but you're not going to get the ball spin. So even if you hit the green, you're going to be rolling through and going into the gorse at the back. So there is a question that you've got to accept your ability, whether and how it limits you with the shots that you can play and how much purchase you can get on the ball to stop it. So I'm suggesting that if somebody's can't get it over the hill and they're on the left, they don't have to hit. They don't have to hit the ball onto the green.
No.
They can carry on. They can carry it on the short of the green on the effectively. If you're coming in from the left, it'll be on the right of the green as you look. They can play it in there, and they can let it run down the bank, and they can let it run on. It's the percentage shot. Now, in terms of how I'd set the hole up, I would let the grass grow a little bit on the back of the hole. By the way, just in that ditch. I mean, it's ideal for a little shallow bunker, but I'd let the grass grow just to take the gorse out a little bit, because a lot of good shots, and this is the doubt as well. A lot of good shots get penalised, or reasonable shots get penalised because they get that downslope, and it kicks it on when it's dry. And you expect it to be on the green, and you're struggling to find your ball. I think that's a bit unfair. And it is the unfairness of the hole that creates the doubt, isn't it?
I think having that bare lie when you have gone through the green leaves you a pretty much impossible shot. It can be downhill. It's very tight, and to pick the ball up, you're kind of thinking, I'm going to have to bash a putter. Really.
Sorry, Jed, where's that?
On the back of
the
fifth green.
On the back,
So
okay.
yeah. Off the putting surface, and it's quite a challenge.
Yeah.
So I think to a lot of our newbies, and I think to a lot of our players who do struggle, you're saying almost to go left of that magnetic gorse bush that's only about 10 foot square, which is just on the run up to the green, and of probe your way down to the green, which you could use, a flat face club, a chip and run, and just take a six.
Yeah. Well, look. This is all about playing in your comfort zone. Now, look, if you're not prepared to take a six, then you're saying to yourself, I'm expected to take a five. Now, if you hit your shots if you hit your shots less than 200 yards, or your woods 160 yards, 180 yards, or whatever it might be, less than 200 yards, then you're going to be hitting a very, very long shot in for your third shot, aren't you? I mean, you just can't. You're going to be. And remember as well, it's not just a long shot in. Let's when I say long shot, let's say you leave yourself 140 yards in. Let's say 140, which you're hitting a wedge, Jed, or whatever. 140 yards in. For a lot of people, that 140 yards is going to be a rescue club. It's going to be a 5-iron or whatever. But you've got to get it over the hill. So it's not just 140 yards. It's pretty much 140. It's 140 yards with an elevation of about 100 odd feet to get it to land soft or softer. So you've got to take into account the trajectory of the shot that you've got to play in on your third shot. It's how the ball lands and the ball flight for your third shot. And if you've got to get the ball, people generally sacrifice distance for height. So the more height you've got to get on the ball, the less distance you're going to hit it, generally speaking. So when you're down there on the six and you've got a carry of 100 yards over, for a lot of people, getting a carry of 100 yards with a wedge is and into wind, and the gorse is there, and by the way, the carry over, it's not just over the hill. If you go from the sixth tee side of that hill, there's actually more than you think over that hill. It doesn't just stop on the top of the hill, does it? It goes down the bank. You've got to carry that, the best part of the shot, and then it's going to hit the down slope, etc. So I think the sacrifice of or the ball trajectory issue is another thing that people don't take into account. Be far better playing a flatter face club, knocking it over that hill and letting it run down to the green, and not worrying about stopping it so much. And it's a safety shot. And as I say, if you stand on that tee and you realistically think it's a par five for you, then good luck. I mean, there's a lot of players. It's a par five, of course it is. That's what it's designed to do. But for most golfers, it's a par six. It's a par six. You stand on the tee and you say it's 4 shots, and if you take yourself 4 shots to the green, it changes the way that what you're trying to do with your first shot and your second shot, etc. You've still got to play good shots. You've still got to be at your maximum to get your 5, to get your 6. It doesn't allow you any error. You've still got to be absolutely as you should be on every shot. And that's the way I would look to play that hole. It's a bit like the 10th, isn't it? Sorry, the 11th at Castletown. The 5th at the 11th at Castletown, 430 odd yards into prevailing wind. Most of the club players there will stand on that tee and should say, I would suggest, it's a par 5. It's a par 5. And I know many good players that stood there when the wind's been blowing say this is a par 5 today, even though they can get up with a drive and a 7-iron in calm or 6-iron in calm conditions. Today it's a par 5. So it's no different on the 5th. Stop making life difficult, and stop putting yourself in a place where you've got no confidence. Where you say you get down there, you say you're short of the green, and you say, well, every time I go in here, I leave myself here, I always thin it or always put it in the gorse, because that's exactly what you're going to do. Change your strategy, change your thinking, get into your comfort zone and take a 6 and walk off if you are not capable of routinely hitting that green in 3 shots. That's how it is.
Well, thank you, John. That is the remedy for the 5th hole, which has been a card record for many over the 125 years. I'll just drop this PDF little get-together that I put through, and I can just see the great photograph of yourself and Donald Beggs, where you had the big donation from Canaccord Genuity for the balls. So hopefully the practice range will be open again soon. The weather will be fine. What's your plan for doing lessons? I mean, we've got the great indoor facility, but we've also got this lovely practice range. How does that work? Will someone just contact you by phone or through an email, or how can we book lessons with you?
Yeah. Well, there's a website there. You should be able to book lessons on there. Although I've had a few problems with the website, but there's lessons to be booked. You can contact me on Facebook. You can contact me via phone, 452262. We've got these academies which the improvers ladies are full. I've got an academy on a Wednesday night at 5:30 for men's. I'm going to make that mixed now because I've only got one guy set up on that. There's a waiting list for the ladies, so we're going to make that a mixed session as and when. Just it's easy to get in touch with me. Got my email address, john@jdtinsley.co.uk, and let's get it booked in. But when we're going to start, I don't know, because it's going to be a little while, I think.
Well, we're fingers crossed. We've got this strategy and the pathway out of COVID all mapped out. I think we got delivered with that yesterday. I did a nice little interview for the TV with the BBC at Rowany yesterday in the rain, but we got the clubs out, so look out for that one. We've got a series of students that you've had at the indoor facility who no doubt will be going on to win more prizes as well. So any viewers, just take note of that one. So the facility, the actual practice range is good, and anyone that's played the course recently will notice that we've got the practice range has been closely mown. We've got a bit of definition appearing on the course, and I've just pulled the photograph up on the screen. I noticed it the other night. Simon and Scotty have been working super hard, and we're actually getting away from what's been termed as the football field effect, where I think everything was just mown from the first hole to the 16th green. So we're going to see some changes. So it could be that the top on the 17th hole, for instance, where a player can top the ball, end up it rolling onto the green in the summer and scutching a jammy par or birdie. Hopefully those days are going to be gone. Hopefully we're going to make it a bit more of a challenge. Right. We want to, play the game with a bit more thought. So if we can grow out the rough on the right-hand side, around that grass bunker thing, and then we can have a bit more safety as well. So look out for that, John. That's got to be a good thing, hasn't it?
Oh, I love it. Yeah, definition, absolutely. It makes you inspired, draws you to the target. Fantastic. Love that idea. It's the first time I mentioned it before, but it's the first time I knew you were perhaps going to give that a go. From that bunker in down to the ladies' tee or around there, protect the hole a little bit, make you play shots, have a bit more strategy. Yeah, it's got to be a good thing. Can't be a bad thing, can it?
I've just pulled the graphic up that we had a discussion about at the Captain's Committee a couple of weeks ago, and it's the kind of an overhead Google Maps thing, and it was suggested that the practice range should be out of bounds, could be out of bounds, so it was discussed, and that isn't going to happen, but hopefully this aerial shot can create a bit of a talking point, because I think the course could benefit with a bit more vegetation, not so much that's going to come into play, but will actually stimulate these senses more visually. I think that's
agree.
And let's get some gorse in there,
Look, we haven't mentioned it before, but I would absolutely love it if some of the planting that has been done over the years, which is not native to the golf course, could be cut back, removed. I really would. The pampas grass type stuff isn't, for me. There must be a better alternative to that. But just visually as well, you know what I mean?
Well,
that's only me.
No, I'm with you. It has its place because the fourth, where we've got the day of the Triffids set, is. Yeah. Before, you just bomb it off the tee and there was nothing there at all, and now you've got a great dogleg hole. It's fantastic, the fourth. You get asked the question.
I love the fourth, but you can be on the fairway and have no shot.
Well, I think you've got to be on the right side of the fairway, play the path. Take the pathway along the right side, or even risk going into the semi-rough and running a ball down. But I think for all ranges of players, if you're choosing to go back a bit and leave yourself a wedge of, say, 120, 130, that's where you're going to get the stop. It's almost like the closer you are, if you haven't got the skill, you run.
Listen, if you had rough there, like you have rough on the right of the ninth, and you took it even further down to the bunker, you wouldn't need those. If you let it grow and defined it even more with rough further down, then you wouldn't let it grow. That's only it's just me. It's not. I'm not saying that that's going to be the right solution. I just look at it and think, well, that to me would be better than what we've got. But that's if people like the pampas grass for whatever reason, then that's great. But I would have it just long old rough and real defined dog leg rather than just some clumps in the middle of there. I'd really shape it up there and let the grass really grow and tighten it up to the bunker as well. Make it even tougher. It would actually make it tougher, wouldn't it?
I think everyone's entitled to their opinion about the course and how it's set out. And I think the more members canvass their committee people, so we know who they are, it's in the diary, and these are players that are busy out and about on the course. So it's just a case of members getting involved and putting their opinion forward.
Yeah. The other thing about the fourth, just going on, I mean, a lot of players aren't long enough to get it far enough down to the right or whatever, and then that grass does come into play, that last piece. But I would like to say this, Jed, if I can. I mean, I played there the other day. Bloody hell, it's in good nick, isn't it? I mean, what a credit it is to Simon and Scotty, and look at those greens, considering the conditions and everything. It's just fantastic. Just pretty fantastic.
I think we get, I don't know, incredible service, because our greens are simply amazing, aren't they? And that's the reputation Rowany has. We've got Tony Fleet has come in with a comment. So we know Tony, big City fan, good member of the club. Problem with the fourth, to get a shot in, you need to be on the third or fifth fairway.
Yeah.
Fourth is no shot. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Isn't
Well,
it?
I've got a lot of sympathy with that, Jed, because I understand what you were saying before. I don't necessarily agree with you on as Tony's pointing out. I do think it's a little unfair. I do think you can shape it differently with rough, and you could take that, certainly take some of the bloody pampas grass out and give people a shot that aren't as long as you. I don't mean, it's just unforgiving. And I have some sympathy with his view on that. So you should be able to have a shot when you not have to go over big loads of bloody pampas grass on that downslope to get the ball onto the green if you're not down the right-hand side. The fairway's 40 yards wide. You're entitled to be on the fairway and have a shot in, I would suggest. So, unless you made it more of a dogleg. But anyway, that's my view.
Oh, it's.
And I agree with him. I agree with him.
It's fascinating, but I am with you on the on some of the vegetation. We need the vegetation that's familiar with the surroundings, and we don't want it looking like a garden centre. That's I
totally agree.
That's first and foremost. And when people talk about Rowany and they talk about the beauty, they're talking about the holes, the likes of the 12th and the 14th, where you've got greens like beautifully flanked with gorse, which is what the purists love. I think having some alien foliage is just a little bit off-putting, but maybe those peculiar plants that we've got, they could serve as windbreaks, and they could be connected by a bit of gorse, and then grow the gorse, and then eventually eliminate this Australian stuff and what have you.
Well, my question is this, Jed. If you were looking at the course without it there now, if it wasn't there, would you plant it?
Absolutely not.
That's probably sums it up. So it's just a thing. I look at it every time I play the hole. Every time I go, what the hell is this doing here? But I'm with Tony. I don't. The hole is tough enough, the fourth, because you're playing the shot in. It's going to bounce on and run on, and and it's great to be. And anywhere on the fairway even if you hadn't got on the left, and even if it wasn't that big a dog leg right to left, it's still a demanding shot to get the ball to stop on the green, and you should be rewarded if you're on the fairway to be able to play a shot, and it shouldn't be semi-blind or blind to hit it over a piece of artificial vegetation. Artificial in the sense it's not natural to the environment, to that environment, and to pitch it over that and hope that it's going to get a right bounce. You don't even see it bounce, and you see it rolling on. I'm with him. I think it's an unkind, unfair hole, and creates doubt when you should be there saying, right, what shot have I got to play here, and see the landing area on that hole.
Well, that's certainly something for discussion in the future, and we've had a number of viewers today, which is good, so feel free to comment, and if you're watching again in your own time, please, add your comment, fire in a question, make an observation. Is the course hard enough for you? Is it just right? Does it make any sense maybe to have a bit of a gorse planting programme? What's the appeal? What do people want to get out of golf? That's it. Do they want to be put to a stern test? It's the question, isn't it?
Well, is it stern, Jed, is it stern to knock the ball, for arguments, down the 17th, to be able to knock the ball up onto that semi, and then because it's going to be a blind second shot for most people anyway. Is it stern to expect you to be able to hit the ball straight down the middle and take a club on and knock it straight down the middle onto the green? Or is it unreasonable, or is it too kind to be able to knock one as far right as you like and have no penalty? I mean, golf's not just a free for all and whack it anywhere, is it?
It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. And I think you mentioned the 17th hole, and you mentioned that it should be more of a test. and I'd love to see it shaped up the left side because there's some little undulations. It's like a little mogul field, isn't it? And you're drawn into that
it's lovely,
natural gorse area, and your eye line. And what makes it really good is that your eye line is that fantastic old Tholton, the Manx cottage.
Yeah, it's great.
Which is filled with character, and you've got the tree to the right, to the back of the green, and just visually. Yeah, it's more appealing coming in from that side.
It's absolutely. It's a lovely hole. It's a lovely hole, and it could be a better hole if it was brought in on the right and channeled you into how it should be played. And I don't think it does at the moment. Same as it's no different than a lot of other courses. Over time. Things are let go to a modern look, and people get more distance and they can thrash it further and wider and longer because there's no trouble. I see DeChambeau now, they made out of bounds. Have you noticed that at the Players? Have you seen that on which hole is it? 17, 18. They've made it they made an internal bounds in the major to stop DeChambeau going left and knocking in it from whatever distance on safety ground. So
I've not seen that. That. But I think we're all going to be.
I don't know.
We're all going to be glued to that. I think over the weekend, with a bit of luck, should be.
Be good.
Should be good. I mean, I did enjoy last week. I thought Westwood was unlucky there on the 18th.
Staggering, wasn't he? Absolutely staggering. And did you notice as well? Was it 16 or 17, the par 5, and over the lake, DeChambeau whacks it, gets it over the lake to 100 yards of the green. Westwood gets out there and hits a drive. I think he made that sort of muscle sound after, knocks it on, and they both walk off with a birdie. Yeah. I love that. Absolutely. And if you look at, and we talk about just bringing a bit of the effect of long hitting on there. If you look at what Johnson did in the Masters on 13 and 15. Laid up both times, and came off with a birdie both times. So having the skill to make a birdie as the hole should be played, I think, is equally as important, if not more so, than being able to carry all the rubbish and hit it into anywhere and then knock it on in 2 instead of 3 and all of that. Skills in the short game as much as it in the long hitting, I think.
But DeChambeau, he's not everyone's cup of tea. He's a bit of a Marmite individual, but he's not
mine, mate. He's not mine.
But what a character! What he's brought. He stands out. He's watchable. The commentators have got so much to talk about with him. He's got to be good for golf. Got to be good, and I think he attracts a new audience as well.
Okay.
Well, we're talking about him.
Yeah. One plane swing, Mo Norman swing. Club's the same length. Yeah, I like all of that. But it's not just him, is it? He's not the longest hitter by any means on the tour. But it's long hitting's here to stay, I guess. But you just have to protect the courses. It's not. It shouldn't be the advantage it is to get the length. There should be more risk and less reward. More risk to get to on the golf course. More risk. There's not enough risk on a lot of these courses. They're bombing it everywhere. No reason not to tighten it all up. Even at PGA level.
I must admit, when you watch some of these, Sunday night specials from American golf, and you see the tracer, and they go in, it looks like 100 miles right, and they're just the other side of the trees on the cart path, and they've got a perfect lie. In fact, you might be able to pluck Patrick Reed. You might be able to replace it, but whereas other courses, the classic courses, you're dead and buried if you're that far right. You wouldn't even contemplate it. And I do find this a little bit off-putting. I mean, there's some great courses in America, as we know, the classic courses, but some of the ones that are featured on the TV, you're just left wondering, aren't you?
In what way?
Well, there doesn't seem to be, unless it's a water hazard. If they're carving it left or right, there's nothing.
There's no rough. No, they get on the course and knock it 50 yards right to target, and they say, "Oh, he's got a line in, he's got a shot." Well, what's that about? Well, you shouldn't be. You should be dead and buried if you're 50 yards right, shouldn't you?
Absolutely.
Or 50 yards left. You should be absolutely out of the hole. You shouldn't be getting away with that.
Yeah, if they transplanted the 11th hole from Rowany on one of those venues, they'd be absolutely bricking themselves.
Yeah. Good hole, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Good hole. Yeah, great hole, demanding hole, strategic hole. It's a little bit. That's a hole a little bit like the fifth. In my book, that's the. First is that hole. You look at going past the hole can be a problem there because there's not a lot of ground beyond the hole into all that rubbish. So a lot of people end up short. So you've got to ask yourself on there, am I going to get up in 2 or is it 3? Now, for a lot of players, it's a 2-shot strategy. But for others, it's 3. And when I get there, can I be playing a shot there which is a flatter face club and running it up those tiers and getting it onto the back? Is that a better strategy for me rather than hitting something which is going to leave me short and come back and I've got to put up 2 levels and whatever? Think about your own game and your limitations and your ability and whatever, and play the shot and play the hole to your strengths.
But John,
knock it.
You're not thinking about your own game on a Saturday or a Sunday. You've got a card in your hand and you've ploughed through the first 7 holes just nicely. You might have picked up a couple of points, or you're feeling good. You walked off the 7th green nice and comfortable. You've gone on the 8th. You've flopped it down there. Nice easy 3. 9th. Can test you. It can test you. And then
tough hole.
You've got like the walk of doom where you're all adding up your scores on your card. You're walking up by the wall up to the 10th tee.
Can I, Jed? Why are you adding up your scores on your card? It's not a 9-hole comp.
Because that's what you do at half time, John.
No, it's not.
That's what you do.
It's not what you have to do at half time. Why are you bothering? What relevance does your score have after the 9th hole?
Because you're
not winning a prize at the 9th.
But that's what you do. You count your scores up after 9.
No, Jed, that's what you do. It's not what you have to do.
I know, but John, you need that walk. When you're 3 under par, you've gone out in 32. You need that walk. It's about 5 minutes, and that's where you prepare your speech for winning. You're trying to work out what you're going to spend the £100 voucher on, and then you stand on the 10th tee and knock the thing out of bounds.
Yeah, because you say, "I've got a great score going on here. Don't bugger it up now."
And then if you,
I wouldn't bother counting your score up at the 9th. I often say to players, I don't need to know my score after 9 holes. Thanks, just leave it to the end.
I tell you,
what's the point?
I tell you what.
Is it going to help? Sorry, Jed. Is it going to help you to know whether you're under par, over par, playing shit? You don't need the score to tell you whether you're playing well or you're playing crap. It doesn't help you. Leave the score alone. Score's irrelevant. Absolutely irrelevant.
I would love to kind of just be a fly on that country wall, on that bankstone wall on the 10th tee. And if you could just watch how many people are holding their breath as they take that tee shot. And really, that landing area, it must be 130 yards wide. Between the outer bounds.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. Huge.
Amazing what it can force you to do. It really can. And
do you know what, Jed? Yeah, Jed. I some years ago, I don't know if you know, I ran the Manx Golf Classic at Castletown for the PGA, and what we did one year is we brought the tee back on the 6th hole. We put it back onto the back end of the 14th hole, so we extended it by about 20 odd yards. And what we agreed was, if the wind was blowing, we wouldn't do it. Anyway, what happened was the wind was blowing. The PGA didn't move it forward on the day, and a team came from across. And remember, it's a 2-day comp. They came from across and they're playing off the back tees. It's 140 yards of carry. It was measured from the new tee to the 6th fairway over that course. and not one of the amateurs made the 140 yards.
Oh dear.
Not one. So they NR'd after 6 holes, having come over on the boat and all the hotels and everything, and that was it. So it was, but the effect of this visual effect is, and it just highlights what we were talking about, making the visuals create an impression in you, and the shot that you have to, and the shot dictating the swing is a massive part of the game. And I don't think there's any requirement whatsoever to stand there after 9 holes and add your score up. It's absolutely irrelevant. You're going badly, you feel dejected. You're going well, and you start protecting it. The score, you don't get rewarded after 9 holes. Just do it at the end. I say, let it go.
It's it plays a bit of havoc with your head. Look, we've got a lovely little message from Jenny Castaigne.
Hi, Jenny.
And she says that I always keep a tally. Sometimes I think I've played rubbish and I let it get into my head. Sometimes, even the rubbish holes, I score points. Not for everyone, but it totally helps my mindset. Obviously, I'm very much a learner. Isn't that lovely?
Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah, doing well, Jenny. Doing well. I think you're absolutely in order to stand on the tee and say, right, the question. Look, the quality of questions you ask yourself is very important on the golf course. And there's one question I think that everybody should ask themselves at the start of every process, which is at the start of every shot, and that is, what's important now? What's important now? Now, if you stand on the fifth tee, what's important now is I knock it down the left. Now, the answer to the question, what's important now on the fifth, is it isn't don't go out of bounds. That's not the important thing. The important thing is go left. What's important now on the 10th is there's my target. It's 100 foot. That's the important thing. So every single shot, what is important now? And you will pick up more points than you ever imagined if you ask that question every time and you focus on what your intention is having asked that question.
I'll tell you what.
Because your intention... What's that?
Please continue, John.
No. And so what's important now is the question to ask, and that creates an intention for your shot. An intention. I'm intending to go left there. That's my target, whatever it is. And if you are really honed in on your intention, then your intention will attract your attention. And maintaining attention through the shot on something specific to deliver the ball to your intended target is absolutely everything.
So really, don't dwell on the negative.
No, there's no negative.
Find your purpose.
There's no. Your subconscious cannot equate negatives. It doesn't understand a negative. If you say don't go out of bounds, it only hears and evaluates. Says go out of bounds. It cannot understand the word don't. So you have to put in what your intention is not to go out of bounds. Your intention is to go left. That's your intention. I'm going left. Bang, and you go left.
Exactly, and Tony Fleet has just contributed there. Think positive. If you look at out of bounds, you'll end up with 3 off the tee.
Yeah, look, my other half, Jan, she plays social golf, that's all, and golf on holidays, and she hits a ball pretty good for somebody that only plays twice a year or 3 times a year, which I'm working out is 120 quid a round generally. She's a NLP master, NLP coach, or whatever. And I remember that we had a home for a number of years in Florida, some lovely golf courses there, and we played this back 9 at White Marsh at a beautiful, beautiful course. And there's this particular hole, the 10th, and on the right hand side were this alligator-filled lake, beautiful lake with all the birds on and the reeds, and you could hardly see it. And on the left were bunkers. I'm saying to Jan, right on the right, you won't see it, but those markers over there, they're out. There's water there, whatever, and she looked at me. She said, "Why are you telling me that?" So what do you mean? She said, "I can only see the green where I'm going to the green bit of fairway where I'm going where I'm going to hit it. She only saw it. She didn't even know it was there. She hadn't paid until I told her. And off she went, straight down the fairway. That's what she, it's absolutely right. Create an intention, an overwhelming goal, an overwhelming target. And once you get the target and it's within your comfort zone, then you can swing without distraction. Then you can start to get in the zone and you can start to play with flow.
Well,
you will not play with flow if you're thinking about doubt or creating of avoidance. You can't swing with avoidance.
Speaking of experts, we've got one who's come online. He's commented he's a 20-time major winner. He is one of the greatest players in Manx golf history. There's no question about it. It's Mr. Paul Lowy. And,
hi, Paul.
And he's declaring that he never added my score up after 9 holes. What does that tell you?
There you go. You know what? Look, you know whether you're hitting it well. You know whether you're swinging it well. You know what the task is in hand. When you face it, he's absolutely correct. You don't win anything after 9 holes. What's the point of knowing? It doesn't create anything other than tension one way or another. I'm going well or I'm not. It's disappointment I'm not going well. But you knew that anyway. Why do you want to reaffirm that? I'm going well, and then you start to defend it. Then you start to play with a negative attitude when everything you served you up to this point is just done well. It's no point.
I mean, just talking about Paul Lowy's game, and you look at the attitude where, certainly from my perspective, is that he's going for everything. He's a target hunter. I can't really think of a time where he's been ultra defensive, because by his reaction when he's not shot a low round. And I guess he just sees greens and he just sees the ball getting holed and he just sees great tee shots. He's such a good ball striker. That must be part of the makeup that's led him to win and be successful. I mean, he did, pick up the Willie Kirk last year at Rowany. That was I think a result that surprised a few people. And he's been in the Manx golfing scene for some time. In fact, he must be knocking on 40, is he? Late 30s, 40? I don't know. Can anyone comment on that? Give us a thumbs up. Has he got a big anniversary coming? I couldn't tell with him.
Yeah, I'll bet you that you talk about target hunting and all the rest of it. Paul will be no different than anybody else at any level, and that is that the more they can let go of the score, and the more they can be in flow and present and in the body and swinging, the more trust they will have, the better they will play with the more trust they have. Belief will grow. They'll swing without limitations, and the ball striking will improve. So it is all about trust and belief, isn't it? And letting go. That's what it's about. And acceptance. So we've been. You do the Monday nights with me, and acceptance without conditions is a major thing as well. Accept everything. You can't do anything after the ball's left the club. But there's no point going to a golf ball, looking at targets, thinking, "Christ, I'm doing well here. Better not let this one go." Score's irrelevant. Absolutely bloody irrelevant. It'll be what it'll be.
Get the numbers out of your head, but that is a battle, isn't it? Just for the record, Paul has just posted he is 39, so hang on to your 30s. They're a lovely time to be in. But if you look at Tom Watson, remember him a few years ago? Was he knocking on 60? Nearly won the Open?
Yeah, probably was. Yeah, fantastic. Should have won it.
Oh, Paul just chipped.
Mind you, having said that, the person that should have won it that year, I think, was Westwood.
Aye.
He overclubbed and knocked it through the par 3 on, was it 15? Westwood should have won it that year, I think. But there you go. Ifs, buts.
Lowy just chips in with another. He says, "I only mark my card every 3 holes." Well, I don't know whether I can remember that far back. There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, great. Look, score doesn't define you. Score doesn't define you. Absolutely. You're not going to be a better person or a better player just because you made a par. or a bogey it doesn't define you. You know, winning a competition doesn't define you. I was talking. Listen, golf reflects. I mean, I'm getting a bit bloody deep in this. Golf reflects life, doesn't it? You know, there's ups and downs, there's challenges, good, bad. You can, changes your mood and all the rest of it. But I remember talking to Fred Shoemaker about this, and he said that he was asked by a fantastic golf coach when he first met him, and he was his guru. He said, "Who are you, Fred?" He said, "Well, I'm a golf coach. I'm this." He said, "No, who are you? Who are you? You golf brings it out of you. It brings your personality out. It brings all the demons out. It brings all the good points out. It's how you control it and how you deliver it, and it's the score, isn't it?
Blimey, John.
Score, isn't it?
That's a bit deep for Thursday.
Yeah, sorry.
20 past 11. Maybe we should have a late night show. A phone in. Talk to John.
Yeah.
Talk to John.
Yeah. Oh, Fraser of the golf. Yeah. No, it is though, isn't it? That's why we play golf. That's why it's such a magnet to us.
Yeah.
It does throw up those challenges all the time.
Well, thank you, John. I think we've chatted long enough. My coffee cup is empty. I'm going to have to take a refill. Lovely, John. Absolutely fantastic. Teed Up Golf. You know how to get in touch. Our great Rowany Golf coach. So we'll call it a day. Catch up next week, hopefully.
All right, mate.
And we can focus on another hole.
Oh yeah, great! Some great holes though, isn't it?
Brilliant.
Just amazing. Just shows you there are some fantastic golf holes at Rowany Golf Club.
Exactly.
Talk about iconic golf holes at the place like Castletown or whatever, but some fabulous golf holes. Fantastic golf holes,
exactly.
Real challenges, and
exactly.
Play with it. Play within your scope. Play within your limitations. Recognise them for what they are. There's no judgment on it. If you can't get up on the fifth in 3 shots, then you just don't get up on the fifth in 3 shots. And that's it.
Perhaps
doesn't matter.
Perhaps take a set of hickories out with you and challenge yourself even further. Okay, we'll call it a day.
Sorry, one final thing. Just remember, guys, that when you go on the golf course, the first thing, the best thing you can ever do, is find a strategy that eliminates the catastrophes.
Yeah.
Just eliminate the catastrophes.
Yeah.
The golf pros on the PGA Tour went from 100 yards in, they only make birdie 9% of the time. 9%. Only 10 times out of 100 do they get it up and down from 100 to 120 yards. Only 10 times. So, but we expect to do it all the time. What they don't do is they don't take 5 or 6. It's just getting yourself away from these extremes at the top end of the game. Just get yourself in it, play your strategy, and away you go. You'll be fine. You'll enjoy it more as well.
Gorgeous. Thanks, John.
Take care.
All right.
All right.